Tracking record changes in Entity Framework Core is harder than it should be. Temporal tables in SQL Server make it simple. Here's how they work. The products table is an example of a temporal table. What that's done is that it's created a mirrored table called products history, but it also has a period start and a period end. It logs all the history for products table, and the period start and period end indicates when that history record was active in products. And if you're using Entity Framework Core, good news. It's fully supported out of the box. There's no additional NuGet packages needed. We're going to show you how it works by inputting a product with the name of watch and a price of 60. When we execute the SQL now, we get a record in the products, but not in the products history. That's expected. Because the product has just been created, we wouldn't expect any history records to be created at this stage. Let's now update that price to 56. If we refresh the queries, so now the products is displaying the price as 56, but we now have a record in the history table. It's also updated the period start and the period end to indicate when that row was active. Now these times are in UTC, so you might have to convert it to your user's local time when returning the response. Let's now delete that record. If we update the queries, notice now that we don't have a product ID of 1 in the products table, but this is the good thing about temporal tables. Even so we've deleted that product, all the history records still appear in the products history table, so we can keep a full audit of what has changed. We're just about to show you how you can add a temporal table in Entity Framework Core, and if you want to learn more about Entity Framework Core, I cover it in my Minimal API course. You'll use EF Core to build a web API from scratch. Check out the link in the description for more details. As promised, this is how you add the temporal table when configuring it in Entity Framework Core. So we're configuring products and we have to call builder to table. We have to specify the name of the table, so we're going to call it products, and then we can get the options, and within that we call options.isTemporal. Once you've done that and you're happy with the configuration, you can use the migration and then update the database. These are the properties in the products entity. But when we add the migration, because we created it as a temporal table, it's added a period start and a period end to indicate when a record was active in the history table. If you're not using migrations, here's an example of how to create it in SQL. And there's a couple of things to note. So when you're specifying the columns for the periods, you need to specify row start and row end. In addition to that, you need to add a period for system time and add the columns that it represents. You also need to enable system versioning and specify the history table. We're just about to show you how you can return the history records in Entity Framework Core, and hit the subscribe button if you want to learn more about Entity Framework Core, as we're going to be doing many more videos about it. And leave a comment to let me know if you're using temporal tables. We're going to go through the different query types, and the first one is temporal as of. This will give you the record at a particular time in UTC. This is the one you'll probably use the most. Think about it as retrieving a record on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Now to get the period start and the period end, you currently have to use ef.property to retrieve those values. We're now going to run that EF Core query. We'll do it with the product ID of 1 and what state it was at 12:47. If we have a look at the history table, it indicates during that period that the price was 56. So when we return that response, we expect the price to be 56. Temporal all is the next one. This will return not only the history records, but also the current record. Use this if you want a complete audit history of a record. In this example, we're passing the ID as a parameter and we're getting all the history records and the current one where the ID is the same as the parameter. So where the product ID is 1, we'd expect it to return all the records from product history where the ID is 1, as well as the current record. With temporal from 2, you specify a date range. Now this will return all the records that fall within that date range. However, these dates are exclusive. So if a record ends at the exact same time as the date range ends, it won't return in your query. Temporal between is almost the same as temporal to, but with one very subtle difference. If a record starts at the same time as the to date range, it will be included in the results. This is the opposite to how temporal from to works. That can trip up some developers, but not as much as temporal contained in. This is the most restrictive out of all of them. The only records that are returned are the ones that started and ended within these date ranges. If they started before or they finished after this date range, they won't be included in the results. If you want to try out those query types, you can download the code linked in the description. Period start and period end are the default column names for the date ranges in temporal tables, but there is a way you can change it in Entity Framework Core. And here's how you do it. So when you're configuring your temporal table, you can call hasPeriodStart and specify the new column name. So for the period start, we're going to name it to valid from. You can also do the same for period end as well. We're going to call that valid to. And you can also change the history table. So to do that, you call use history table and specify the name of your history table, just like that. When you add your migration, it will reflect the column changes. The next step is to update the database, and when you look at it in SQL Server, it should reflect the changes that you made in Entity Framework Core. Opening up the categories, the table name is Categories Archive, and with the columns, the valid from and valid to date ranges have also been applied as the column names. Temporal tables are good because it stores a full audit history of your records. This is ideal for debugging issues with your data, like if it goes out of sync, and this video shows you how that could happen and how you can resolve it. I'll see you over there.